Hello crafty friends, this is Irene Fiero from Impressive Formations. So I recently joined a swap, and this is kind of a continuation, or I shouldn't say continuation because I never started it. I did create already my swap cards. I already have them ready to go. I was asked if I could join a couple more groups, I guess. So I said, that's fine. I was gonna stamp some of these recipe cards for my own, but I'll show you what I did. Okay, so for this I'm using Anna Griffin's recipe card stamp and dies. I got this on HSN. The price is a lot better because this was a swap. I have to make 6 cards. There's not enough of these embellishments for all 6. I think you get like 4. You get like 4 of each, yeah. 4 of these colored ones and then 4 of the gold ones. And so I figured I'll have to use the stamps to kind of create my own thing. So I'll show you what I did. So here's my recipe that I printed on my computer using a Word document. So what I did is I had initially stamped and then cut this recipe card, and then I printed the text. I kind of like measured. This is so if you want to do your own thing too. You measure and you're like, okay, the first the quantity, it measures over about 1/2 inch, then over about 1.5, 3, and then starting at like 4 1/4, right? So you have one line with these numbers, and then for the recipe title I moved it all the way over here like 1.5. So I aligned it, I printed it on a regular piece of paper, and then I checked to see, with the printed text against my card, does it line up? And then I played around with it until I got it to all line up perfectly fine. So, and this is great because I don't, to write all this 6 times for each card, it takes a long time. So I'll start with this recipe, and obviously here's the dies and the stamps, and I'm going to use this guy. I have one of those stamping platforms, but I'm not sure where I left it. I haven't stamped in a while. So this is all just freehand. I have ink already still on my fingers. Anyways. So this is going to be more of a purple theme. So you're going to need 1 sheet of like a solid cardstock. And then right now I think you just need 2 of the same, something that coordinates, right, with your background color. So the other thing I was going to mention is I have these older stamp pads. This is like from 2014, and they're a little dry. So when I was stamping them, this is my little prototype, they didn't really come out very, very dark. So I do have some of the newer inks, and these are doing much better. So this is what I'm going to go with. So let's ink this one up. And I don't know if you guys know, but these are silicone rubber stamps. They're not polymer. So what that means is when you get them, if they don't stamp right, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to, you need to get an eraser and then just erase the top. I use one of these white erasers to do that. Because silicone, you know, if you guys have silicone utensils, nothing is supposed to stick to them, right? So ink is the same. It's not going to stick to it. Anyway, so this is where I hope my head doesn't come in place. So I'm lining up right now the serves, and so I'm going to go right there. I might have moved it a little bit. This is where that stamping platform would do well. Okay, it's not so bad. Didn't come out bad at all, actually. So now let's cut this. Let me move this out of the way. So this is for the inner one. I might have made this a little too long. I should have let it wrap around. But anyway, I'll still continue with this video. It's right at the center of my cutting line. Always good to know where it's at. Yeah. Let's move it up. So I'll redo this card. These I was going to do just for my own personal collection, but now that I'm doing a swap, I'll make sure to correct that text and print it out. So crooked. So I'm just lining it up to that 1/4 inch. That looks good. Yeah, peeled and sliced didn't come out right, even though I tried to move as much as I could to that one side. Now let's cut this one. Now, this is the directions, so I've already like stamped and pre-cut these because these are, everybody knows how to do these. So I already stamp and die cut these to save some time. So I'm gonna move this over. So I want a little bit of space so that my directions mounts right there. So, and then here I'm just gonna make sure like all the dots kind of line up. So I say that is a good one. So now let's cut this. So this one is nice and came out nicely cut. What else do I need? I need to cut also, before I put that away, my little tab here. This actually, it's easier to work with little pieces of paper than the whole thing. So on this one, I'm going to fuzzy cut. So I don't even really need this top part. works, honestly. Okay, so now let's cut our cardstock. So since this is for a swap, I need to cut 6 of the same side of what is it called, the outer card is 4 by 6. So to make the most out of my cutting, I'm going to cut these. I can probably get 4 from this one sheet of cardstock. If you do that, you know, 7 by 5, right? Because this is 12 inches. So we line this up. You can do either 5 and then cut down all the way to the 7-inch mark. And then you rotate the page. And then you started at 5, so you keep going at 5 down to the 7-inch mark right there. There's 1. And we started at the 5. Started at the 5. And then this should be these should all be 5 by 7. If you go all the way to 7, then you only cut to the 5. So either one works. So I have more of these to cut, but I'll cut those later. Then your coordinating sheet of paper, you're gonna need 4-inch. So you get 3 per each cardstock. Okay. So let me just cut these now. It's on here. But you only need 1 for your 1 card. 1 per card. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is on your cardstock. So we do 3 and then all the way to 9. So there should be 3 over here too. So you do that for all of your, however many you need. If it's just 1, then just for the 1. And I'm gonna fold these. Now one thing, at least for this technique, is I just want to make sure that when I cut this, it's inside my 6-inch line. So I need to bring this in a little bit. So I should have said, you know, instead of cutting 6, do like 5 7/8 or something like that. So it's a little bit shorter. I forced it to close when I folded it over. And let me show you why you would need that. So this is your card with 2 flaps, and put it upside down. Now we're gonna get the large die, and I want to make sure the fold lines are inside the cutting. This is the cut line, so as long as that's fine, then we should be okay. Now let's cut this. Okay. So you are left with this. Take the corners off. All right. And now let's flip it this way, because I make sure that this hangs past the mat, because I want to also cut this edge. And so you kind of like guide these, it'll hit the side. So let's try it. And then we're going to do the same for the other side. Make sure it's past the mat. Line this up, and I want to cut a little bit on the end again. Now the other thing you can do is you need a little gap is the whole purpose of this. So I can go and cut this with my paper cutter. It's going to be and I'll show you this way, or you do it the same way I just did. So you can come in here and just cut a little sliver. And we have a little gap, and then that way when you do this, you just kind of push the die to where it butts towards the end. And now side to side. And I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a little purple corner on each end here. And like I said, let's make sure it's okay. I need to do it again because I wanted to make sure my full line is past the mat line. Okay, that looks about right. So this is what you wind up with, okay? What else do we need to cut? So your main card, let me put this to the side over here for now. We will now cut this. And I try to save as much paper as I can, because I'm not sure if I'll need some of these for little details. And by that I mean, like one of the things I was thinking about using is from the barbecue scene dies, the little baking, or the glove, the oven glove. Take it from here. And I think there's enough space for that to come up from there. Okay, so we are left with our recipe box. Let me put this over here. I don't think I need anything else. I might need one from here for the tabs, but so these should line up. This is going to be your back. It's going to go in here. Now for these, let us, where's the, yeah. I am using a little dabber with my ink, And I'm just going to come in here and just run it down. And we'll do the same with this one. Just so it kind of coordinates with our main paper. And I'm just inking and pushing down. Start from the top and just slide down. And I'm going to do that with these directions. And there's another one for ingredients. Okay. So I'm going to decorate this guy first. And get some of these little mounting things. So I'm just decorating this maybe a bowl here. So these are the ingredients. Yeah, see on my original one I didn't have this much text, so I'll have to scoot this down. But I'll continue with the video so that you guys can see how I did this. So basically I'll have to reprint this front card. This one looks fine, but we need space for the ingredients. So I'm not sure what to cover. It doesn't matter. I need to move the whole text down. So we'll pretend my text is all the way down. This is the only one that needs to get redone and not this one. And then like over here looks a little blank, so I would probably put, you know, one of these in here. And then for this, let's glue this guy on. And I'll be able to reuse this part, just not that. Which is fine, because that's just printer stuff. This is the one that I don't have like a lot of cardstock of that same one. So that's, I'm happy I don't have to waste that. I'm just going to add some glue. We will mount our directions. Actually, before I do that though, really fast, let me glue this to this. Because once I put the foam tape, it's hard to use the bone folder to spread the glue evenly. So it's better to work with a flatter surface. So I've noticed this is starting to run out of glue. I'll have to refill the bottle soon. Alright, so this, it doesn't matter the up or down. So these should be the same size. And this is what I need. Oops. Okay, so we have that. Now what I want to do too, and one of the reasons why I haven't cleaned that out, is I was going to stamp these little flaps first. So I'm going to peel off that, and let's get the this is the whisk. And just randomly stamp maybe over here. Now let's add another one like this. Measuring cup now. I'll put one right here. So my goal here is to create like a little background. Maybe over here. Maybe one off the card, right? And then we have a bowl. All right. There's also a plate. And then I like to add, I have this little stamp, it's, I don't know, it's from Dots back when they were in business. But it's just little tiny little dots to just fill in the blank space. So we are creating that. I think that looks good. Okay. So this guy's gonna go here. So these are the ingredients, and then you open it up and then you reveal the directions. So now we can add the directions. So here's our directions. And then let me add, I have these guys. What's this? Maybe this guy here. I'm just going to sprinkle just some of my embellishments, I guess. Actually, I think I like the bowl way here better. Oops, I left that. Alright, so this one I'll get a double foam. And then this bowl, and then I think I have a whisk, yeah. The whisk, like kind of like a cross. And here's the bowl. And you know, if we want, you can stamp in here too, like here on these two panels, or you can decorate with flowers, but not too much, because just make sure it doesn't interfere with this middle section. Okay, so that's the next step. So you're gonna need 3 of these circle punches. It could be a circle, it could be a square if you want. Yes. So this is a 2-inch circle punch. I got this at Hobby Lobby. And I need one more. Since I am here, I'll be needing more of those. Okay. So what we need to do is we're gonna fold these 2 of them in half. Okay. So and here's our center. And we're going to glue half the circle into this circle. Make sure it's nicely aligned. Spread the glue nicely. Now let's glue the other side. And let's spread the glue. Okay. Now what we want to do is, this is our little closure. Keep sliding off. So we left a little gap because we need to slide this guy down in here. This is our little mechanism. Center this at your halfway point. So I would say that's our halfway point. And then glue. It's taking more effort because there's like less glue in there. And now the front card, you will center it to, actually, I'm sorry, I just remembered on time. We're going to take one of these cards and we are going, I wanted to bring, yeah, no, I wanted to do this first. So from my previous example, this is the one that I used for my swap. This card is, oh my gosh, it would help if I do. This is 5.5 by 3.5, I believe. Yeah, 3.5. So I'm going to take one of these and cut it down. 5.5 by 3.5. Oops, that's not the paper cutter. So 5.5. Let's get this guy out of the way. By 3.5. And then I just have a corner punch, and I'm just going to round the corners on this cardstock. Okay, then here we are going to mount this. It kind of brings in the background color right towards the foreground now. And let's get some glue on here. And now let's get this, center this. It's off. Is it off a little bit? I think. Okay, so now when we bring this guy in, let's open it up. Let's center this, and now we center this. And if you don't do it like this, I'll show you my prototype. Okay, so once you have it like this, slide it out, and then come back and then really burnish it well. And then if you want, get a piece of the cardstock and do a circle punch and then, you know, cover this side. Okay, so now this little guy keeps the recipe card from opening up. It's kind of like a belt, but it's a, of course now I can't put it in there. So if you have too much trouble, just put one in, open this up a little bit, and then stuff the other one in. But this guy slides up and down. And then what I wanted to do is to finish it off is put my little title. Now, I don't know if this guy is thick enough. I might be able to get away with that. Yeah, I think so. So let's try that. So we fold this guy in half. And this is, you want a fuzzy cut, so I'm just gonna cut this really quickly. I'm cutting basically where the embossed section is at. I'm cutting my title out. And I'm gonna also add some shading to it, same color. And I'm gonna glue this. Like here, I think if you want to feed your cardstock to your printer, I guess you can do that. So let's push that up. I think that's it. And now we're gonna put this here. I make sure this guy is centered, top and bottom. And then what I do is, you know, you figure out where you want it. And then I basically line up the base of my title to the top of the card here. Okay, let me move this down a little bit so I can burnish this well. I can burnish this. And that's it, you guys. That was my swap card. And like I said, I'll have to redo the front on this. But for the swap card, this is the one I submitted. It was for candied pecans. And here I added some flowers. And this is what I was telling you. So these flowers, because they're like dimensional, when I slide my circle in, they hit. Let's see if I can get this guy in. So you're trying to slide the ends into the little circle pieces. And it's already hitting one of the flowers. Okay, there. And so you slide it down. And that's it. So this is the candied pecans. This is sopa de pollo. And this one I thought it was a little too high. That's why this is kind of my prototype. I should have lined it up to the top of this. Anyway, you can make multicolored of these. And if you do not mount this within the circle here, even though you think you eyeball it, you'll glue it wrong. Okay, this is my initial prototype. And I had the circle on the side and I mounted it thinking it was centered, but when I mounted it here, it's all tweaked and not because it's glued now you can't tilt it back. Unless, you want to do that on purpose. It looks cute anyway. But that's it, you guys. Those are that's how I did my card swaps. I hope that inspires you. And this one is not crooked, it's just not mounted, not slid in. But I hope this inspires you to create your own. Like I said, I bought my stamp and die set from HSN. It's a bit of a difference on price. So if it's a little bit more budget friendly from HSN. Okay, now it's mounted. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll catch you again next time.